Hi, I'm Coach Tracy Knight, and today I'm going to introduce you to our one team conflict resolution step-by-step process called the Forum. This is the first in a five-part mini series on how to actually go through the Forum step by step. The Forum has 4 steps to it, but this first video is really going to share with you a little bit of context around the Forum and how it is so transformative in healing yourself from the inside out, but also healing the relationship and rebuilding trust. So let's jump in. So the Forum is a 4-step process around healing conflict and rebuilding trust. And the first thing you need to know is that relationships have a purpose. The reason that we have relationships is so that they serve us. In other words, in my world, I don't have a 360-degree lens on my impact on other people. So when I'm in relationship, I get a chance to truly see what my impact is. So for example, I might think that I'm a very effective communicator. However, it's once I'm in relationship with, whether it's my significant other, a client, a sibling, that I get a chance to see where I have an opportunity to up level my communication. So relationships are there to help you see the totality of who you are and to practice being the person who you say you are. It also is there to help you create a sense of love and belonging, to learn how to build trust. Relationships are there to know yourself better, to experience more of who you are. Relationships are also here to help you create a sense of connection and contrast. So we think that we're always right in our world, but other people live their life in a different way. So that contrast helps us have a much more expanded lens on life. Relationships, in essence, are a catalyst for change and for growth. Now, as you learn how to facilitate the Forum, which you can use this same technique at home, at work, in the bedroom, with your children, it is important that you enter the space with a few tenets, which were created by Kenya Stevens and the Progressive Love Academy. First, you need to think about, again, conflict is just a difference of perspective. And so when you enter this space, you want to enter it recognizing that your spirit, the higher part of yourself, your higher self, not just the ego, which is the mind, the intellectual part, or the heart, which oftentimes has wounds, you're not entering from that lens. You want to enter the space from the perspective of your higher self and learn to manage your ego's perspective on things, okay? So the first tenet that you want to enter with is there's no shame and no blame. So basically what that means is no one or no thing is against you. Okay, because remember, we all have triggers. So we're responsible for our triggers. So we get out of the habit of shaming ourselves, shaming other people, or blaming ourselves or blaming other people. The second tenet is no victims, no villains. You cannot step in and hold your power if you lead from the place of being a victim or a villain or projecting that upon other people. No one is inherently good or bad or right or wrong. People are doing the best that they can with the information that they have and the skills that they have. So no one is really actually doing anything to you, even though they may be a contributor to the situation. Okay. So you want to try to, as best you can, surrender some of that so that you can get to the essence of the issue. Okay. And that's not to excuse people or absolve them from things that they have done. That's not what that is doing. It is just saying that you're taking back your power and really saying, I will not serve in the role of a victim. I won't, because in a victim role, you can't access your full power. That is somebody doing things to you. That means you're subject to their control. You want to take back your power. Okay. Plus, truth of the matter is, most people really aren't thinking that much about us. They really are just trying to live their life. It's just that their behavior has an impact and they may not be aware of what their impact is. Okay. Next is no cop out, no dropout. That basically means that you want to stay present and connected. Don't try not to drift off or start listening only for a reaction or to respond to the person. You want to try to stay present and connected throughout the entire situation, even though sometimes it may feel uncomfortable. Keep processing through and recognizing your own triggers because you're responsible for your triggers. And when the triggers are running the show, the ego and the heart have taken over. Okay. It's not your higher self. It's a wound. And we are here to heal the wound. And we do that with other people. Don't push it down, suppress, or run from it. This is that same thing as sponging that we talked about. So you want to, if you're feeling sad, be aware that you're feeling sad and how you respond when you are feeling sad or angry or whatever. Don't push it down. The purpose is growth. Every experience we have in life is here to grow us. So the more you recognize that there, even in the most catastrophic situations, there's something, some way that you can benefit from that. Some way you can grow through it. You get stronger, clearer, more confident, more convicted. Something is in there. Okay. The benefit is love. Relationships are here for us to learn how to love ourselves and to love others unconditionally. So look through the eyes of love as best you can to help bring peace and joy to all people, but more specifically to yourself. Okay? So you also want to remember the basis of all this is you are in the driver's seat. So you are creating your life. Your life is not just happening to you. You have the power and the responsibility to create the life experiences that you want to have. Okay? So the next thing I want to talk about are the 4 actual steps in the process. And then I have subsequent small videos to show you how to facilitate these processes. So there's a 4-step process. The first one is learning how to vent and soothe. This is the purpose of venting and soothing is so that when you are in a crucial conversation or when you're angry about something or you're upset or you're sad or you're withdrawn, that means you are in an emotional state. So in that, or even a time of uncertainty, that means you're in an emotional state. So it's important for us to vent that out, to acknowledge it and get it out and to soothe it because the ego, the mind, or the heart, where wounds and love live, are running the show. That means that your primal brain, the amygdala, is on fleet. It is in control. So we cannot access the rational part of our brain, the part of our mind that can think through and problem solve until we can soothe that part of ourselves. So we spend an inordinate amount of time in the venting and soothing to de-escalate ourselves from the inside out rather than sponging the feelings and emotions. Soothing is the opportunity to allow someone else to support you in a way that makes you feel seen and understood and respected and honored. It actually is an extension of love, is what it is. It's an extension of love. And the soother is non-attached. That is the charge for the witness. The witness goal is to be non-attached to the venting, even though sometimes that venting could be towards them. Okay, but the goal is to be able to manage your ego so that you don't take things personally because a trigger belongs to the person. It doesn't belong to the witness. Okay, so the soother is there to learn how to listen and understand, to be able to pinpoint some of the feelings, to be able to paraphrase and summarize back to the person, and to then offer them a soothing technique that can help to de-escalate the situation. The second step is problem solving. Now that we have gotten our rational brain back online, now we can start to problem solve. So in the problem solving phase, we get to the root cause of things, and then we start strategizing on win-win solutions. Step 3 is personal ownership. This is pivotal because this is where personal accountability comes into play. But it's not only personal accountability, it is also things like making an amends, learning how to forgive yourself and others, because you will begin to see that you have been a contributor to whatever the situation is. There may have been times you could have been more intentional, more thoughtful. Maybe you could have spoken up sooner. Maybe you could have used different words. There's so many things that we do to contribute to things, even though we may see the other person's actions as egregious. When we look a little closer, we can see that we also played a part in it. So this is where we take personal ownership, which does not absolve them, but it is personal ownership for ourselves so that we can heal, and then we begin to forgive ourselves first, then others, and then we see how we can grow from this situation. Finally is step 4, which is the gratitude. This is where we give thanks for the whole experience, but we also reconnect with our why. Why are we in this relationship? Why do we belong to this organization? Why do we work with this organization? How is this serving me? How do I want to serve them? And how do we move forward? So this 4-step process is very comprehensive. It gets to the root of the issue, and I hope that you will thoroughly enjoy, albeit uncomfortable at times, but enjoy moving through this process and discovering more about how you can have high stakes conversations and loving and supportive relationships.